Welcome to Foundation Repair Success Secrets, the podcast that's rocking the foundation repair industry. Discover how to boost your leads, raise your profits, and lift your digital presence. Together, let's dig deep and transform your foundation repair business.
Hey guys, welcome. We are on Foundation Repair Success Secrets, and we have a super monster guest, none other than Mr. Derek Ritchie. Derek, welcome.
Yeah, it's great. Hey, Chayton, it's great to be on this Zoom call with you. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Well, Derek, tell me about you. I know you have a really cool story, in my opinion. You have a really cool story. I know your story is pretty amazing, but what got you where you are, and what are you doing these days?
Yeah, so just my background. So basically, I actually received a marketing degree from the Ohio State University. Everybody always jokes when we say the Ohio State University, but yeah, so I actually majored in marketing. What's cool about all that is I'm actually using my degree. I actually majored in marketing at the Ohio State University, and I'm using it. So, and I've been using my degree since I've been, out of school, out of college. So since 1991, I've been a marketing agency / marketing consultant, and it's been an amazing ride. It's been an awesome ride. So I came down here to Atlanta in 1991. My college boys were down here, and I was hanging out on St. Patty's Day, 1990, and a year later, I packed my bags and moved to Atlanta. So I started my agency in spring of 91. And I had a great mentor, God rest his soul, Jose Ojeda, who got me started with my agency. And I actually worked with the ever so fabulous Tim McVeigh, who was the station manager of Channel 2 back in the day, and with Cox, Enterprise. And then I morphed, around 2008, I morphed my agency into a full service agency, which was basically budget, strategy, media buying, implementation, tracking, and I probably worked with over, 100 clients in the last 30 years. And most recently, I've dummied down to just me, as I've gotten older, I've just simplified everything and just, the great thing is my clients get 100% me now. And, I don't have all the aggro and all the pressure of having to hire employees and keep employees. So it's been an amazing ride, 32 years going.
Yeah, it's amazing. And Derek, the great thing, guys, with him and his services is he, to this day, oversees, I feel, behemoth companies. Sometimes they're smaller, medium, large. He has worked with massive companies through his career. He's still working with, multi-million dollar a year firms. But he's also accessible, where he could take all of his wisdom and work with a firm. I guess, Derek, what would you say, doing a few $1 million a year is kind of your entry point?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I work with companies that are right around $1 million, to $3 million. It doesn't mean I can't work with a $10 million company, but I do, my niche is that $1 million company that just needs help with their marketing to take it to 5, 10, 15, 20 million.
Right. Okay. Well, and beautiful. So being here on the Foundation Repair Success Secrets podcast, some behind the scenes guys, Derek and I met a few years ago. I think it was a cold call, and I was like, hey man, we have a really weird website. It's for foundation, waterproofing, and we're getting something like, 80, 100 opportunities every single month through it. But guess what? We're just a little marketing company. We're not, we don't do the work of foundation or waterproofing. Derek was with a company really well respected in Atlanta. And maybe you could touch on that. Like what, we don't need to say the company's name, but what is Derek doing in these companies, like with them as an example? What were some of the responsibilities? And I know the milestones that you hit were huge.
Yeah, it was a super great run. So I worked with a, very well-known foundation repair, company in Atlanta. Started work with them back in 2011. And what I did was back then was jingles were still pretty big. Jingles were still pretty big. So I came up with a jingle concept and just branded that jingle via billboards, radio, TV. And it was just awesome. And we were able to stay away from investing a bunch of money in Google AdWords.
Sure.
A lot of, small businesses budgets are 5, 10, 15, 20 grand a month with Google AdWords, and they just 100% relied on Google. Well, my model, you're not. So what I did is I branded that jingle, with billboards, radio, and TV, so that when somebody had water in their basement, or had a crack in their foundation, or had an issue with their concrete, with Polylift, the name to know was this particular company. And I basically grew them, Chayton, from 3 million to 18 million over a 10-year period. It was awesome. It was an awesome run.
That is crazy. Can you tell us some of the wisdom for the foundation waterproofing companies that are listening? I don't want to give away your secret sauce. I know some of them, they can afford you, or they can't afford you, or they're out of your target market, maybe geography wise. Can you give us maybe some of those insights that you're able to share with us? Of course, we don't want to give away the farm.
Yeah. It's not rocket scientist. There's an old cliche, Chayton. You got to be consistent. You've got to stay the course. But basically, what I do is I market to what I call a deliverable that I have, which is called a marketing matrix. It's basically an Excel, file on steroids. So what I do is I plug in, the previous year's monthly revenue numbers, monthly marketing, numbers, and then now I know where that particular client's been, right? And then we talk about where that client is right now, and then we talk about where they want to go. Well, if they want to grow at a 20% increase, well, I market to that 20% increase, which means I put a marketing budget percentage, usually between 5 and 10% on that 20% increase number. A lot of small businesses, Chayton, make a big mistake where they market to the previous year's numbers. And guess what? They're going to hit the previous year's numbers. So what I do is I put together a budget strategy plan to market towards the projected goals. Now, if my particular client wants to come in at 8% actual marketing budget percentage by the end of the year, my job is to adjust that budget based on the market, so that I don't overspend, and we come in at an actual 8% marketing budget. But yeah, so then I put together the strategy, with my client's help, and then I implement it. So I've done all my own media buying over the last 32 years. I have bought around $50 million worth of media in the marketplace in Atlanta. So I've done all my own media buying. It's probably one of my strengths, actually, is media buying, and all my relationships with all these vendors in Atlanta. And then I implement it. I handle the creative. I got a freelance creative guy that handles all my creative, and then we track it. The stuff that we can track, we track. The stuff we can't track, we don't. The billboards, radio, and TV are more of a branding play, so you can't really track that. But you can track it on monthly increased revenue numbers. So yeah, it's a model that I've implemented, that I've revived and tweaked and changed and adapted to the marketplace, over the last 3 decades. And hey, at 56 years old, I'm still loving what I do.
Yeah, and you guys are still way relevant, way relevant. In my world, obviously, we're the digital side, and if you asked me a few years ago if billboards were important and radio ads, I probably would have been a little bit more crass and been like, "Man, come on, that's old school." But clearly, these days, obviously, as I've matured in the business, I'm like, we need a Derek. We need billboard. I mean, I can't tell you. I feel like almost every billboard these days is monopolized by lawyers. Personal injury. They're not dumb people. Your clients and you are very sharp. So guys, obviously there's the digital end. That's what we help with. Derek obviously has a pretty nice reach into that as well. But there are the radio is huge, and especially for the people that are the end customers or clients of the people you work with. There's a whole thing you could get into about age and demographics and wealth, and yeah, can you tell me maybe some of the wins or fun aspects of radio and TV? I mean, you're talking about doing shoots and all kinds of fun stuff. Is there any like memorable experiences of particular videos or billboards that just, did amazing or had a really cool response in the community?
Oh yeah, thanks, Chayton. I should have brought my picture upstairs. I got a picture with a monkey. So back in the day, I worked with a plumbing company that in Atlanta, everybody knows. I took a plumbing company from a couple million to 18 million over a 10-year period, and we came up with an awesome campaign, and it was tied around a monkey. So first and foremost, I had to find a monkey, right? So well, you don't know, in the state of Georgia, monkeys are not allowed to be, carried or, travel, and put them in just any vehicle and bring them to a location shoot. So I had to go to like out of state, Myrtle Beach. So sure enough, in comes this, urban assault vehicle with no windows. And I was like, what is this? And it was the monkey. It was the monkey. So the whole theme around that concept was, you deserve more than a monkey with a wrench than, a monkey, actually doing your plumbing. So what we would do is we would put a monkey driving a school bus, right? So we shot a monkey, actually driving at the seat of the school bus. And the line was, you wouldn't let a monkey drive your kids to school. Why would you let an inexperienced, plumber monkey, fix your plumbing? And it was an awesome campaign. It was an awesome campaign. We did that for hair cutting. You wouldn't let a monkey cut your hair. Why would you?
Oh, wow.
Fix your plumbing. So yeah, it was awesome. We shot all day, and I ran the heck out of those spots. And you talk about a branding play. Everybody was talking about those monkey ads. Everybody was talking about those monkey ads. That was super successful. Super successful. Had a lot of fun with that campaign.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's say for these companies that are small to medium, they're looking for a guy like Derek. They're maybe around the corner. When should they implement an expert like you? Is there a revenue? Is there a tenure and age, an employee count where they should say, hey, we really should be thinking about getting outside counsel, not just trying to, get an intern who's in high school or college to help us figure out TikTok or something crazy?
Yeah, Chayton. Actually, I'm just working now with a startup, believe it or not.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, bathroom remodeling startup. And I literally came up with a company name. I came up with a slogan. I'm working on
Wow.
a vanity number. I'm putting together the budget strategy. So yeah, so this particular company, only did 300,000 in 2023. So the revenue is not really there to do a lot of marketing. But hey, there's only one way to go, is up. So, but to answer your question, you could be a startup. You could be doing $500,000 a year. You could be doing $1 million a year. I've always said, I got a lot. I call them Ritchieisms, Chayton. That's my last name. A lot of Ritchieisms, and one of my Ritchieisms is, the sooner you get started marketing and branding your company, the sooner you'll achieve your end goal. Now, I'll say it again. The sooner you start branding and marketing your company, the sooner you'll achieve your end goal, whatever that is, 10 million, 15 million. So, the sooner you get started, the better. That's the gist of the answer to your question. I mean, so,
Sure.
You can always start off with a small campaign. Let me give you an example. I've got a brand new foundation repair company I'm working with, and, there was no budget there. As I was putting together the marketing matrix, which is how I manage my clients. And basically I found $5,000.
Cool.
I found $5,000 by adjusting the budget elsewhere with some other marketing sources, and pulled out $5,000. Well, guess what? I went out and did what is called a rotary billboard digital deal, which now billboard companies are selling their product as a cost per thousand, not like they have in the past, with on as a per unit rate type of fixed price. So basically, for a little under $5,000, I was able to achieve 1.25 million eyeballs over the course of 4 weeks,
Wow.
which is a cost per thousand of around $4, which is incredible for a billboard campaign. And they're basically all over town. They're running on highway boards. It's called a rotary, what I call popcorn style billboard buy. And only I know this because, they don't really push it. Actual reps for the billboard company. So, it's a super cool campaign, super affordable. And hey, I got them started, with billboards when they came at me with, hey, we don't have the budget, we don't have the money. So I'm able to find the money, kind of reallocate the budget, with my clients, and move money around. And, it just, it's going to be a super successful campaign for this particular waterproofing company.
That's awesome. And can you tell me, we talked about consistency earlier. I'm big with that. And guys, everyone listening, that could be your health, nutrition, going to the gym, a relationship, being able to have maybe a date night once a week or something, put away the phone when you get home so that way you guys can focus together. What does consistency in all practice mean for you, Derek? Like, just like you mentioned, start somewhere and think of consistency. Like, are you going to pay your taxes every year? Great. You should have an allocation for marketing every year or every quarter. How have you seen the consistency take effect? Obviously, you've helped these companies go from a few million or even startup to going consistently down the pathway to much greater success. Are you seeing a lot of times companies are doubling revenue in a certain period of time? Are they, 1.5xing it in a certain amount of time? Like, just help paint the picture of the consistency and how that actually comes to life for people listening.
Yeah, so I don't have a magic wand, that guarantees a certain percentage growth, with my marketing strategy.
Sure.
It's a lot that affects a company's profit, revenue, and with regards to achieving their revenue goals and their projections. There's a lot involved. But to answer your question, again, I implemented this marketing matrix, which is basically, an Excel spreadsheet on steroids to manage my clients' marketing budget strategy and to manage their expectations. So what I do is the last thing I want to do is overpromise and underdeliver. So what I do is I underpromise and overdeliver. But to directly answer your question, consistency really is key. Now, what I do is if we're not achieving our monthly goals, and the marketing budget percentage all of a sudden balloons up over double digits when we're supposed to be around 8, well, then I got to adjust the budget. So what I don't recommend doing, to answer your question, Jane, is canceling an existing marketing source because you shouldn't have done it in the first place. You would have been much happier taking that money if you're going to cancel and taking a trip with your family and friends, versus canceling it, and not giving it the consistency, the time to really kick in and really to really work. So I've always told, I've told everybody, I tell people, I give advice all the time to even non-clients, people that aren't my clients. Look, if you need to cut back, if you're having a hard time paying your bills, don't cancel the whole thing. Just cut it in half, cut it by a third. Keep something running, keep it running, keep the buy running, cut it in half so that you put 50% back in your pocket, but you're still out there, you're still in front of the public, you're still in front of the consumer. The biggest mistake advertisers make, Chayton, is they cancel and cut it off and or don't run during the slow season. Let me touch on that, Chayton. So
Yeah.
another big mistake advertisers make is they think during the slow months that they don't need to advertise.
Sure.
Because the demand's not there or the seasonality of their business is not there. Well, guess what? That's a perfect time to capture market share over your competition.
Oh, yeah.
That is the perfect time, because guess what your competitors are doing? They're cutting back. They're canceling their marketing. They're trying to save money. They're in survival mode. Well, guess what? That's the time where you want to put your pedal to the metal, as an advertiser and stay the course, right? And this is back to your consistency question. Here's a good example. Advertisers need to keep marketing themselves during their slow season. Super important. Doesn't mean you need to invest the same amount of money. Again, cut it back. But keep your marketing stuff running. Don't cancel it, because you cancel it for 4 or 5 months during your slow season. It's going to take you more than 4 or 5 months to ramp it back up again. Now you missed out on your busy season. So, you really want to stay the course during your slow months. In other words, you need to run year round, really.
Right. And I think you already identified this, but maybe just to clarify with the audience, you're saying more or less, look a year out and say, hey, we're committed to $80,000 spent in a year. And then with your wisdom of sorts, this is genius. I don't think a lot of people do this well. You're allocating a percentage the year thereafter because they want to grow the year thereafter. A lot of these companies, I think you're kind of identifying, is they'll say it's 80 grand. It's 80 grand. It's every, every year, every quarter, every what have you. That's that. And you're like, wait a second, guys, basic math. You want to grow every year, right? Like when we talk this time next year, we want to talk growth. So can you just kind of go through that real quickly for our audience to kind of hear that in an example of what we could say 10 grand a quarter, 80 grand a year, what have you, and how you do that percentage year over year so they can get continued growth?
Yeah, so let me use the analogy of an actual existing client. I'll keep their name confidential for obvious
Sure.
reasons, but basically, it's a really good example. So I came in the month of what was it? Probably September. I started working with them, and basically, I did exactly what I do. My model. I went ahead and plugged in what they're currently doing, what they've been doing, so I knew where the budget was, and then what I did is I basically adjusted the budget that included me, included my vendors, included my new strategy, right? All under budget. So I was able to include my marketing consulting fee, the new billboard marketing source, under, and I was able to do it under the budget of the previous year. And it looks like the company, I just did their marketing. I just updated their marketing matrix through December. And it looks like we over exceeded the 20% increase projected goal. We're up around 22% from 2023 to 2022. So, and I did that, I wasn't, entirely responsible for that because I didn't come in until September of 23. But the last 4 months of 23, I did some damage because there was some nice incremental numbers year to date, September, October, November, December over 22. And again, I won't take all the credit. I actually have a meeting with them today. I'm not going to take all the credit, but what I am going to say is, hey, we're on our way. We're on course, So then what I do, and here's a good segue. What I do then, Chayton, is now I'm going back today with this client, and I'm going to be talking about, increasing the budget. And I'm able to do that because we had, 22% increase in revenue, 23 over 22. So now that marketing budget percentage on a bigger number is now a bigger budget. So then I can then recommend doing some other forms of marketing. This particular client needs some video, needs some case videos, needs some video testimonies, needs some video clips for social media. So I'm going to propose today with this particular client, an annual video package that will get them some good video, company overview, a sales production process video that they can utilize on their YouTube channel because they don't have a lot of video. So that's what I do. So now adversely, if you look at my startup, their marketing budget is, a couple thousand a month. This particular client budget that I'm talking about is $30,000 a month.
Okay.
So because they're doing 6, 7, 8 million a year. So, again, you've got to have the revenue to be able to incur a multi $10,000 monthly budget. The revenue's got to be there, and it takes time to get there. This particular company's been around 15 years. My startups, just started up this past summer. So, yeah, it just depends on where that company's at, in their journey, in their process. But and what's great about me too, Chayton, is that you get to hire me for pennies on a dollar. I am not the big agency that needs 25, 30 grand a month. What I do is my retainers are anywhere from, $500 to $8 grand a month. And my retainers are totally based on the size of the company and how much time I think it's going to take to manage that particular account. So it's awesome. It's an awesome model. Like I said, I've tweaked it and molded it and modified it and changed it over the last 32 years to get to be current and with the times.
Yeah. Well, and plus too, like the amount of revenue you could be accountable for, if they're doing $6 million a year and you come in, it's going to be a way different mark than if it's a startup. You may help the startup percentage wise or multiplier increase the revenue a ton, but they're not going to be able to say, hey, you helped us make an extra $3 million in 2 years, perhaps. Maybe in the startup's case, it's an extra million or something like that. So yeah,
Right.
I always look at it when we talk to our potential clients or even current clients, and I say, hey, you were to give me $1, and at first I only give you back 50 cents, maybe the first quarter, and then that becomes 75 cents, then it becomes $1, and all right, yeah, now we're even. But then we're going to go up and up and up and up and up. And yeah, some quarters, some years, it doesn't always be $1 for $3 or something. Or excuse me, $3 is your input, and we're going to give you $9, or $3 is your input, and we're going to give you $6. Sometimes it does kind of go back and forth, up and down. But similar to the economy, you have your ups and downs, your kind of crests and your troughs, but it's going up and towards the right, just like your revenue and your profit and things like that.
Right.
I'd love to hear, Derek, on your end with branding, how that influences employment. Employment's a huge deal, obviously, so many different factors over the last few years. How does your branding do something other than just getting dollars through the company? I have to assume we see it as well in our business, how it impacts employment and retention of employees.
Yeah, that you know what, Chayton, that is super tricky. Yeah, as a company grows, right, the infrastructure that they have internally is absolutely key, along with the sales and the processes within their company. I have tweaked my model slightly to help out on the sales side. So
Mm.
I have helped out on the sales manager side a little bit with my clients, with their salespeople, because I'm also a salesperson and I've got some sales skills. Now with regards to your question, yeah, if you like, for example, this particular foundation company that I took from 3 million to 18 million, they went from a couple crews to 15 crews.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's the
So
difference.
yeah. So now you've got to have a system and process in place to be able to train, bring entry level production people in, and train them, to move
Mm.
them in the ranks to be able to do the work and lead a team. So that is a whole nother process. I personally do not get involved with that, but
Okay.
you are correct. That is a game changer for these businesses. So now I've got, I know people, right? So I've been doing this a long time. So my sister, in fact, she's a human resource person for hire. So what I do is I bring her in and she helps fill these positions for me. So it's kind of a good 1-2 punch that referral business for her. But yeah, you are correct, because if you don't have the right people behind the scenes, call comes in. Well, guess what?
Hmm.
Appointment's got to be made. The sale has to be made. Then it's got to be put on the books. Then it's got to be scheduled for production. And then you got to have a, walkthrough with a supervisor. You got to get paid. I mean, yeah. So you are correct. That has been not a problem, but that
Mm.
has been a concern for these small businesses that are doing 1 million, 2 million, and then all of a sudden they jump to 3 million. Chayton, is the kind of the number where you really have to get help and have systems and processes in place. A company can wing it from from a half a million to 3 million, but I've noticed right around 3 million is where most companies have got to put together massive systems and processes, if they want to take their company to 10, 15 million.
Yeah, no, that's definitely fair. How
Yeah.
about the work that you do in the aspect of it attracting new employees? I would imagine that you guys have seen an uptick, and of course, there's that difficulty with the solutions and really having a process. Have you seen how happy clients are from the work that you're doing to get branding and leads and things like that, but also how it could possibly bring in a nice pool of good applicants, employees?
Yeah.
I imagine they got to be very happy about that. Higher
Yeah.
quality comes with the work that you're doing, not just in the form of money coming in the door, but human capital coming in the door as well.
Yeah, absolutely. For example, this particular client that I'm working with now, that billboard campaign, they get a lot of calls from people that want to work with this particular company, right?
Cool.
And the reason why is because they've got, 27 different boards up popping all over town. they look like they're a credible, professional, honest, company that people actually want to work for. So you are correct. With those branding mediums, it does build that brand, which causes, individuals and people to want to work for that company. So yeah, that is one of the benefits of branding. Absolutely.
Yeah, and another aspect too is it makes the current team members feel like, hey, we're on a mission, we're doing something, we're not old school or antiquated. Like my face, because let's say the branding has the team, my face is on a billboard. Like that really, really instills in a world today where, especially larger, more corporate, people aren't loyal to each other, be it the corporation not being loyal to their employees, the employees not being loyal to the corporation. When you're able to do it at, I don't care if it's a medium or small scale business, the sort of people that are attracted to some of these jobs, that makes a huge difference, that they're in a, let's say, an internal testimonial of the company, or they're on a billboard, or they're in, it could be an email newsletter, that they
Right.
just feel like, wow, I'm being recognized. And, it may not be to a Super Bowl advertising audience, but it's to an audience of people in our community. And from time to time, someone might say, hey, I saw you on the billboard. That was really cool. And they're like, all right, this makes me feel good. The work that we're doing that helps pay my bills is really, making an impact in the community. So I think that's sometimes a hidden aspect, the employment, being attracting people as well as retaining people in these corporations, these businesses, is a large part because of what you're doing, which obviously makes them money, but also helps them continue to keep their people happy and bring in new bodies.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Super cool. So we talked about the popcorn ads. Let's say foundation waterproofing company, they are at $2 million a year. Maybe we'll do this as an example of sorts. What would Derek do to potentially give insight on mediums of how to advertise? Would it be more the popcorn style? Would it be a certain number of billboards, radio ads? Like just a random example. They haven't done anything other than word of mouth. They're at $2 million a year. They're a waterproofing foundation company. I may be throwing a hardball at you, but I would love to see maybe how you dissect that and help people understand what mediums they should be thinking of.
Yeah, no, Chayton, I consider the three big branding mediums: billboards, radio, and TV. Those are to me the big, billboard, radio, TV, the big branding mediums. Now, of the three, my favorite, depending on the city, Atlanta is top 5 as far as driving time to and from work. So, Atlanta is a great city for billboards because the traffic, people are stuck in their cars, and people are driving 38 minutes plus, to and from work. So depending on the market, I would recommend billboards coming out of the gate. What's great about billboards is, the billboard company, the billboard industries have moved to digital. So now you don't have to pay for that vinyl, right? That tears and rips and discolors after a year. You don't have to replace it. So you don't have any production costs per se. And most billboard companies will create your ad for free,
Cool.
internally. So now you got no creative costs, you got no production costs, and you can change the creative at will because it's digital. It's literally the push of a button. So, for example, my new foundation repair client, I was able to add a holiday creative in the month of December pretty easy, pretty quickly, within 24 hours at no cost, to my client, Chayton. So, whatever your message is, you can change it pretty quickly, pretty easily, and at no cost. So to answer your question too, if the budget's a couple grand, no problem. Let's put up a couple boards and get started. We can always add to the buy. You can always add more billboards. And remember my Ritchieism earlier, the sooner you start branding, the sooner you'll achieve your end goal.
Right.
So let's get started. Let's get in the gate. Using the horse race analogy. Once the gate's open, guess what? When the gate's open, you now have billboards up. You're in the race, right? You're in the race You got billboards up, whether it's 1 or 2 or 3, doesn't matter. You don't need to have 27. You don't need to have, 15, 20 boards. We can build and grow to that. And then the second medium there out of the gate, I love some TV. Nowadays with streaming ads and cable ads, you can really target geographically and target your listener and target your viewer, with regards to the technology nowadays. So, and you could do it very affordably, so you could target geographically right around a 15-mile radius, right around your business, and achieve economies of scale and good logistics for your production team, for $1,500 a month.
Wow.
Now you've got some costs that you have to produce some TV spots, and so you have some extra production costs there. And then finally, radio is super catchy. I always recommend when you do radio, you have to have one of the station talents be your endorser.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to go on radio and not have one of the on-air talents, endorse you as a company. That could be anywhere from $300 to $500 a month. It's 100% worth it. I highly recommend having somebody endorse, your company if you go on radio. And you can really own. What's great about running on radio, Chayton, is you can really own that listener. There's a station in town called 92.9 The Game in Atlanta, and I'm very close with my rep there. And a lot of my clients have run on that station. Little shout out to 92.9 The Game. They're just a force, for talk. Now, it's obviously predominantly a male listener, so it all depends who you want to target. But boy, you can really own that listener because that listener always listens to that station. Well, it's a really small universe, right? It's not a big universe, relative to the big metro Atlanta area. But if you want to reach male sports enthusiasts, that's how you want to go about doing it. And by the way, male sports enthusiasts have a lot of disposable income. Because they're the ones going to all the games. They're the ones usually they play golf. I mean, they have income. So I've had a lot of success with my sports talk radio station here in Atlanta with several clients over the years.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Usually they're college educated. They have a wife potentially who wants things to be prim and proper.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
The husband wants to please her and make sure that stuff's taken care of. That's interesting. And like you're saying, own it. I mean, that's kind of what we're doing here with foundation repair, waterproofing is, of course, and you do the same in your business with home services, the scale and the scope and how you're going to get the nuts and bolts taken care of, but just kind of honing in. I was just on a podcast the other day and we were talking about, boiling the ocean. It's a big thing. Consultants always talk about, let's not boil the ocean. Let's boil the pond, or let's boil the puddle. I think that that's huge for our clients. If you could own a spot, especially like the one that you just referenced, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah. Absolutely, Chayton. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many different options out there when it comes to marketing. So many different options. And what I do with my 32 years of experience, I just dummy it down. I dummy it down and keep it really simple, the old KISS method, keep it simple, stupid, and another thing I say too, Chayton, is I'm not emotionally attached to these businesses because they're not my business, right? So I come in as an outsider, as a third party, and I'm just here to do business. I'm here to increase their business. I'm here to make their phone ring. I'm here to help them achieve their dreams, their company corporate dreams. So yeah, I mean, it's not, I make it really simple and keep it really, and it works, simple, consistent, whatever the budget is, I can work with any budget. The budget can be $5,000 a month. It could be the biggest budget I ever had with a plumbing company was $107,000 a month.
Wow.
So amazing. That was a huge budget. I had a 6-figure budget monthly that I was responsible for managing, and it was a lot of fun. That's
amazing. That was the monkey commercial?
Yeah, that was a monkey
Right?
commercial. Yes, yeah.
Man, the things you could do with 6 figures a month. You got monkeys
Yeah,
coming in. That's
yeah, especially,
awesome.
yeah, especially with my model. I mean, I can do a lot with 100 grand a month. And, again, 100 grand a month, if you're doing 15 million, that's your budget. I mean,
Right.
that's where you need to be, $1 million budget on a 10+ million dollar company, you know?
And it's something all of our audience could work up to, and frankly, some of our audience are even past that in certain
Right,
instances.
right.
So I love it. Yeah, what you're doing is very scalable. It's something that people can consume. And again, kind of reminding everyone listening is if you're going to ask marketing people like Derek and I, hey, I want to do another $1 million a year next year. It's like, all right, great. Well, I'm not going to be able to help you for $100 a month. Like the world is not silly enough yet, and I hope it never will be, that for $100 a month, $1,200 a year, you think that's going to help you make an extra million. You have to be somewhat reasonable, and most of the money, it's not going to Derek's pocket or my pocket. It's mainly going to advertisers, which is the name of the game. So just thinking, guys, you have to put skin in the game. Things in business can be magical, and there's certain times that you have an upside and stuff, but you want to keep the upside. It's very much like you mentioned with seasons. If you're going to the gym, commit to going to the gym. It's a lifelong thing. Don't do it a few weeks before it's beach season. That's just not going to work. The muscles aren't going to pop. You're not going to be able to cut the fat to show the abs. You're not going to be able to fit in that bikini you wanted to if you're just doing it with that kind of time frame every single year. You need to be more consistent, and that could be 2 times a week. It could be 5 times a week, but some sort of consistency with diet, with showing up to the gym. It's the same thing as here. It's with paying someone like Derek, paying someone like my team and I, and Derek's team as well. You got to focus on being able to pay these people that can do the magic, but the magic doesn't happen in a bottle. It doesn't happen overnight. Then, of course, a lot of the magic as well with kind of a captain of that capital, like someone like Derek, it's going to be going towards the advertisers. You can't just have someone like Derek come in, snap their fingers, and you not pay anything other than Derek and his team. You have to cover the bases, for the advertising, because you can't be greedy and not expect to spend some money. It doesn't make sense. The world doesn't reward that mentality, and sometimes you have to kind of talk that through with maybe the smaller and medium companies. But yeah, Derek, this has been awesome. We probably need a part 2 one day. Anything that you have left to share with the audience, and obviously, let us know how we can get in touch with you as a sign off.
Yeah, no, this has been an honor. Really have enjoyed it. Thanks so much for having me on your podcast. And just, if anybody's interested, they can reach out to me. Derek Ritchie, DEREK, Ritchie, RITCHIE, and my phone number. Should I give my phone number, Chayton?
Sure. Totally up to you.
The best way to get a hold of me is texting me. I'm a big texter. My cell number is 404-791-8189. That's 404-791-8189. And this was a lot of fun. And it's my first podcast ever.
Yeah.
So how'd I do? Did I do good?
Yeah, great. And I'm going to wrap up the show in just a quick second. Who is best to reach out to you, Derek? Tell me, is there an ideal segment, ideal geography, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've worked with other clients outside of Atlanta, so that's not a problem. But no, it's the home service category businesses, the roofer, the plumber, the electrician, the tree company, the landscaper, the flooring guy, any company that has to do with home services. And yeah, I mean, I can help them grow. And again, it doesn't matter your size. I work with any size business. You don't have to be a certain size. So yeah, no, this has been great. I really, really greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up. Thank you guys again for tuning in to another episode of Foundation Repair Success Secrets here with Derek, the master brander, marketer of home service businesses. We will catch you guys in the next episode. See you guys.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us today for another revealing episode of Foundation Repair Marketing Secrets. Don't forget to subscribe so you can keep discovering the tools, tactics, and techniques to ensure your online presence is as solid as the foundations you repair. Keep digging deep, and we'll see you in the next episode.